Good evening, hello, good night. And welcome to another episode of Talk the Ting Sports. It's me, Carol, here with Dwayne and Brad, and we are about to really get into a pretty interesting
Yes,
discussion.
yes. Back again.
What do you say? How's everybody doing?
Back again.
Back after a little
Yeah,
while,
man.
a little break, man.
A little hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody say, we give Manu a little chance to catch himself, but that's not true.
That's well.
know?
Unfortunately, the hiatus coincided with a little downturn. Well, not a little downturn.
I think we should start
Poor.
and end with a moment of silence for our dear friend Ole. Yeah, we'll miss him.
What is wrong with you?
We will miss him.
What is wrong with you, really?
Boy. Anyway, I call it. I tell only before Thanksgiving, Ole gone.
Before Thanksgiving, yeah.
I tell you that.
Brian had a prediction that he would be the first to go.
Yeah, I mean, the first to go, I think Watford's manager, which was a bit shocking and unnecessary, and then Dean Smith Watford? Also.
Yeah, Watford.
And then Steve Bruce, Dean Smith. Yeah, but I mean, Ole really should have gone.
Ole should have gone before all them, man.
I think he should have gone. Well, definitely after the Liverpool demolition.
Yeah.
Definitely after that. But it was coming because the way we were playing, the way we stick out a few results, but it's just like the manner of the results just didn't really make any kind of sense, and it was consistent garbage.
Yeah, but you have to give a manager time. You never know what they could have turned it wrong.
Boy, from time you see you have a team going and play, and opposition fans, no matter where you go, say, "Oh, they will keep him there."
Yeah, exactly.
That can't be a good side there.
Really. It was just unfortunate, man. Like, yeah, he did a good job in terms of turning it around at the time when he came in after Mourinho. Yeah, he had a decent finish to that first season, get back in the Champions League. Then the second season, coming in second.
Hey, Carol, we getting some feedback there. Audio going in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check it out.
Let me try and sort out.
But yeah, I mean, Ole was in over his head. And as a legend of the club, wanted to give him a chance, wanted things to work out. But, sometimes that's not how it goes, And I feel like after the Liverpool game, no manager should survive that, in my opinion. I don't care. You can't 5-0 at home against your biggest rival. Come on.
City beat Man U at what was it, 6-1, 6-2 or something when Ferguson was there. He was in charge. Sometimes you have days like that, man.
Yeah, but 6-1, even the 6-1, we didn't look as bad as you look at that 5-0 there.
True.
No, Jesus Christ. But listen, a lot we have to touch on. We have in the time that we were off, we had the Cricket World Cup come and go. West Indies didn't do anything to shout about.
Yep.
The controversial decision to play Mr. Chris Gayle didn't work out.
Nope.
So, there's a lot we can touch on. But as usual, guys, we want you guys to, contribute to the show. It's not just three of us there talking. We want you guys to join and contribute. So, as you guys could see right behind me here, you have the meeting ID 821-0936-8478. Right? Call, give your opinion. We're watching the game today, and I know some fellas was calling Brad and calling Carol after the game and everything. Call and give us all your opinion.
Yeah.
We have our own opinion, but I want to hear what the people watching the show have to say. Where's Tommy Tactics? Tommy Tactics, we had a big game today. Let me send him a message on WhatsApp, matter of fact.
Well, I don't know where you want to start.
I mean, we have a lot to talk about, you know.
If we start at the top of the table, we might not get to Man United on today's show. So
Wow, boy. Look how we fall, boy. Wow. What is life?
Yes.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
I mean, we touched a little on Ole as well, but I guess we might as well start there. The hottest club at the current moment, the most talked about club. We have the recent news that what's his name, Ralph Ragnick is coming in to take over the club on an interim basis. Yep. Fans are very excited. I'm not sure why, but maybe a Man U fan can call in and give us their views on why Man U fans are very excited for this man to come in.
I mean, as a Man U fan, I think part of it is just, you know, excited for a little change. And, you know, we're hearing good things about him from some of the best managers, one of the best managers in the league, Klopp, and his name's calling me for a lot of the good managers that he was influential in teaching them. But obviously, it's one thing to teach a manager, another thing to implement it in a team. So there's debates on why hasn't he won so many trophies, and there's reasons for that. He hasn't managed some of the bigger teams as Klopp and Guardiola and some of these guys yet. He he kind of went into the role of developing clubs and helping to build clubs. So, if you take a team from Division 3 or Division 4 in Germany and bring them to the Bundesliga, some people would argue that, and those teams they're punching well in the Bundesliga, some people would argue that that's just as good as winning a trophy. So, it just depends on how you look at it.
That team also had a lot more resources than the other teams they were competing against, being backed by Red Bull, and so I think it's a lot left to be seen on that one.
Yeah, I mean, but
what is a change?
He has had some good recruiting. Sadio Mane played for him at one point. He had a lot of the good young players, coming through.
As a matter of fact, for cheap. Roberto Firmino was his last signing at Hoffenheim.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can see the mold of the players, that he wants to sign. So I think that spells trouble for some of the players at United, namely Mr. Paul Pogba himself. I don't think Pogba will be a player that manager will be too fond of because Pogba too lazy. That manager wants high octane people,
Yeah. But if we're gonna mention Pogba, you might have a Ronaldo conundrum there as well, because the interim manager, I don't know how well they will mesh in terms of what he's trying to do on the pitch and Ronaldo's ethos up front,
I mean, how I look at it is I said all this afternoon. If you're trying to build a club and you're trying to get a club back on the map, you don't go on the back of a 36-year-old guy. You know what I'm saying? Ronaldo at this point need to realize that, listen, you are Ronaldo, yes. You can't score goals, yes, but you have a role to play in the team, and the team is not you. The team is not Cristiano United, it's Manchester United.
Yeah.
So if Cristiano can't get on board and he figure, well, he don't get enough game time, or the coach try to get him to play a different way, then you let him stay for the rest of the year. And then after this year, I'm sure the contract, whether it's a 2-year contract or whatever, you tell him, you can go about your way, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be an issue, because I think at this point, Cristiano understands that. I mean, from what I see over the past few games, in terms of, the criticism that was leveled at him about his pressing and him not running enough. And so he showed that he can do it. Right. But I've seen games where he run pointlessly or try and press, and the rest of the team will press. So it's not necessarily about him and his work ethic, because we know Ronaldo is a hard worker in terms of keeping his physical thing, but then is the structure of the team behind him and following up with the press. Because same thing happened, well, not so much today, but was the last game we played against Villarreal, right? He pressed up on the wing, and then nobody follow on the other side, they get an easy ball up. So it's I think is more a matter of the organization of the team that will fall.
I
So
I
we'll
have
see.
to I have to disagree. I think it's one thing to make a few random sprints during the game in the effort of pressing versus a pressing tactic. Ronaldo is not going to be able to make those type of pressing runs for 90 minutes.
But
Even
do
the
but
players, even the players who are currently doing it that younger and have more stamina at 90 minutes, they're struggling.
right, and
They're
that's
breathless.
understandable. No, that's fine. That's fine. And I understand that. But in the same vein, you're talking about players are doing it. They're doing it in a system. So it's not just them doing audio.
Oh shit, my bad.
It's not just them, It's just it's a
but
matter of
I
the
feel
team.
like at his age, yeah, he gets the goals and stuff, but in the tactics that they supposedly want to play, that particular position is very important. You start the press, you set the press. The other people behind him take their cues from him. The ball goes to the early pitch. It's a constant thing for the game. I don't know if he's going to be willing or even able to do that for the course of 90 minutes on a Wednesday, then on a Saturday. Like we're going to find out because we're coming into the Christmas period where we're going to play a lot of games. New manager coming, we'll see what happens. And right? I think if he's doing that, will that impact his ability to get up and score goals? I don't know. Maybe it'll create more chances for him.
I mean, when I think about it, you can say, well, yeah, maybe he can do it for a game, press. But that means he's not going to play every game. And maybe that's his role. Maybe that's his role where he play maybe, once every 2 games or once every 3 games, and he play 90 minutes and try and give it everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, we've watched Ronaldo for a long time. Do we think that? I mean, that would have to that cue would have to come from the manager because given the option, Ronaldo will play every game.
Yes. I'm not saying no, but I mean, we all work in organizations where we see that management is not just motivating people to do work. Sometimes management means protecting people from themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so if you're in a position where Ronaldo want to play every game, that's fine. Everybody want to play every game, but you can't play every game, and you have to understand that.
Well, it just means we have to see if the manager come in and have enough personality to say, well, listen, you're gonna be on the bench, and eventually, because as it stands now with Ole, with Carrick, every time Ronaldo on the bench, like today and other days, he stormed down the tunnel, not happy. He's always a headline. We will see that disappear, and the manager kind of arrest that kind of a rhetoric and just put the focus back on the football.
I see Brad John Baptiste saying Ronaldo in the mud. When he came back, Man U fans were too hype. Paul, you come back down to earth now.
I agree.
Brad John Baptiste, any realistic Man U fan was happy to see Ronaldo back. But I mean, talking about Ronaldo that left and went to Madrid in 2009, bro. I mean, Ronaldo is Ronaldo, If it wasn't for Ronaldo, we may be fighting relegation with Newcastle right now. So,
that's facts.
But I also said it this afternoon. I think Ronaldo cost Ole his job, and not directly, but indirectly, because I don't think when we were going into the season, Ronaldo was part of the plan, right? We picked up Sancho, we picked up Varane, and that was the plan to have Sancho play there and maybe have Greenwood kind of be an understudy to Cavani, right? And then all of a sudden Ronaldo show up and you can have Ronaldo then but play him. And I saw Roy Keane today was making a big deal about Ronaldo not starting the game and stuff. I actually respected that move from Carrick if he was the one that made the decision, because against Chelsea, knowing that you're not going to have too much of the ball, you prefer have more legs, people who can counter attack,
Yeah, right? But as Man U fans, I want to ask Oli, what would be your solution to Pogba and his contract, and what would you do with Martial? Because these two right now, they're on the outs. They're not too highly favored. If you were a manager, what would you do with those two?
I'm telling you right now, and I've said this before. If I was running Manchester United, Pogba would have been gone a long time ago, or he would have signed a contract. 2 years ago, I would have given him a contract and tell him, sign that, or I'm selling you at the end of the season. That's it, right? Because I never believe in allowing a player to hold you ransom. And in my opinion, Anthony Martial, the date is expired on him, right?
Yeah.
The date is expired on him. I feel like those players, and I'm going to call a few names, and Rashford quickly approaching that too. Rashford is another one. Them players have played at the highest level for a number of years now. These guys are not young players. These guys are experienced players at the top level of football. And them guys at this point should be producing week in, week out. And in my opinion, we have too many, and I agree with Roy Keane, too many pretenders at this club. A lot of pretenders. Guys who come and give you one good game every 3 games, but they're not consistent. And to have a team that can win titles, you need to know that you can have guys that can give you consistent 7 out of 10s. And guess what? You look at Liverpool. Henderson might not play the best game, but at least you know he's solid. He'll give you a solid 7 out of 10. So all you need is then your superstars like Salah and Mane and them to give you an 8, 9 out of 10, and you win games. You cannot have guys giving you 3 out of 10, and then the next game they give you 10 out of 10, and the next 2 games they give you 4 out of 10. Like that can't work. You can't win a league that way.
So you don't think that maybe if a new manager coming in, maybe be able to sort Martial out, or you just shake him? Because a couple of managers have tried. He looked good under certain managers. He was looking like he was getting there, and then.
But again, consistency, right? In my opinion, consistency, right? We got less of the manager. Have you ever seen Martial come in the game and actually get the feeling that Martial have any interest in playing football? Like Martial always look like he's just passive. He
not on the
never look like. What do you mean not on the Oli? What you mean talking about last year?
Yeah, Martial. Yeah, last season.
Was it last season?
He looked good at some point.
There was a point they made him play up top, I think, and he scored a bunch of goals towards the end of the season.
Well, you know what though? I feel like Martial.
I think that was the year before.
Martial made his debut and he scored a goal against Liverpool, and because of that, a lot of United fans really held him in high esteem. And then he would have half performances here and there, he'd score a goal, and they would say, "Well, yeah, he's a young player, one for the future." But really, I mean, I've never really seen Martial up for a game. And I guess that's his demeanor, his personality. They would say the same thing about Ozil as well, but I don't know. At some point, Arsenal was offering like 40 million for him. It was, I think Oli should have taken it at the time.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Kerry.
I would take what we can get for Martial now.
What do you think you'll get for him?
15.
15 now. 15. You get more than that.
Well, he's still relatively young.
That's true. But then it depends on what
you have to move back to France.
I think you can get somewhere 25, 30 million for Martial now. He's still a young guy. He's still a talented player.
He's still in the France team. He's still held in high regard in France. So
would you would you take 10, 15 million for Pogba in January versus losing him for free in the summer, or just keep him in the squad until the summer?
Yes. I think what I can get for Pogba. I think take what you can get and try and get a midfielder in January. That's it.
I don't know who is going to get enough any kind of quality in January.
Pogba is not the long-term solution.
For a more or less amount, unless you want to take somebody from another team where you have to put your money outside.
Yeah, but I would say I think sometimes as an organization you have to make the tough decisions. And in my opinion, brother said that before, and I agree with him. I would not sign one player that is signed by Mino Raiola. I don't care how good they are. I would not sign them.
Oh,
agreed.
I would not sign them.
None of them are not signing these guy players.
I would not sign any of them. No. In my opinion, Pogba is injured now, and they say he come back in the new year. I am telling Pogba flat out, I'm giving you a week and a half in January to sign that contract. If that contract is not signed, I take in whatever I can get. I shop in you for 15 million if I have to. I don't care.
Right now, the bargaining chips in his squad because his contract up soon. He's not inclined to go to.
But the money he wants, right? I don't think he's going to get that money offered by any team.
He won't get his existing salary at any team.
Exactly.
Much less for the money he wants.
I think it's also, we can look at it from another standpoint and say maybe the people at United looking at it as the longer he waits, the more, yes, he have the bargaining chips now, but when he out of contract, He might have to renegotiate with United at a lower rate than he even is now. If he can't get a team to pay him what he's looking for. You know what I'm saying? How can Pogba in his right mind demand to be the highest paid player in the Premier League? Is that guy crazy?
Yeah.
Madness.
Salah.
He's never played a full season, you know, since he's been back.
Yeah.
Never played like a full season.
Pogba is the definition of
injuries.
mediocrity, in my opinion.
Yeah, the talent there, but many players have been talented and never amount to much.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
But anyway, we're talking about that old team.
I was about to say
Now,
that.
speaking about contract, just to transition to another team there, Arsenal also has a player, Lacazette, in the last year of his deal, who right now this week said he instructed his agents to look for a new club. I don't understand why Arsenal is Lacazette so good that you couldn't sell him in the summer to make some money. Arsenal spends so much money in the summer, you're gonna let that man leave for free and then go and buy another striker. Doesn't make sense. I don't understand.
Maybe they wanted to hold on to his seniority, quote unquote, for his experience.
Yeah, but I mean, a club like Arsenal right now, that in a bit of a middle ground. You spend so much money in the summer, you'd want to recoup some funds to see if you can make some further additions in the windows to come. I mean, like I said, not even playing that much, and you keep him there on the bench. You know,
I don't know.
I would have sold him in the summer.
I mean, I think I see a Hurricane team there with some of the teams that were, you know, when we started watching football, I'm talking about late 90s, early 2000s, we start watching football. I don't want to date us there, you know, we're like older than something.
It's all right, man.
But
experienced.
When we started watching football, or at least when I started watching football, pretty much after the 1998 World Cup, I would say. And at that time, Arsenal and United was in their pop, you know, like pretty much. I'm noticing something there with these legacy teams, United and Arsenal and these teams, right? Where the way that the organizations were run is very ancient. They have not come into the new way of how teams and organizations are run.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I watched that all or nothing with City a couple of years ago, and you could see how City has a whole team of people looking into players and scouts and all these things, and all of that is brought back to the manager and
transfer committee
and all. You know what I'm saying? They have things that could. It's almost like Arsenal and United. They don't run cohesively. You have people who run the business, and you have people who are trying to run the football matters. And it's almost like these two people don't communicate. Because how does that happen on numerous occasions where players who are not squad players, they are starters and stuff on the teams, their contract keeps being run down. I do not understand how that happens.
Particularly Arsenal have been notorious for that over the years. Arsenal star player always on their last year of a deal. Just renew that deal. Yeah. And it's strange because Liverpool were kind of the same at one point, and then we get new ownership who are Americans, and they kind of bring in a different business standpoint where if you want to leave or you're not sure or you're unsure, they will just sell you. But Arsenal also have American owners, and Manchester United also have American owners. So I don't know if it's something that ingrained in the club. Well, Manchester United wasn't really like that before, but also Fergie was running a different operation.
Was the difference between your American owners and our American owners really actually?
Well, I don't know. They are all the
similar.
They own franchises in both.
There's a big difference.
Your owners are fans of the sport and support the team.
True.
We don't see the was it Glazers? We don't see the Glazers at our games.
But
we see them at the start of the season when Ronaldo came in.
Do I want to see them? I don't know if I want to see them, you know. And in a way, I cannot necessarily blame the Glazers. And why I say that is because, well, I can, but the point I want to make is the Glazers put people in place that they think, could do the job. But the people they put in place cannot do the job. So
chief executive.
It's worked out in a negative manner. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, that Ed Woodward was somebody else who actually knew something about football, it could be a whole different kettle of fish because he would have put the right people in place to run the club properly.
Right? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to let Pogba leave the club and man, you get $0 for his services.
2 times.
And like I said, it could be 5 million, it could be 10 million. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Twice.
Ridiculous.
Because Pogba already left 1 time for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look, you going to leave again for free.
And we raise him, we let him go for free, and we buy him for a bag of money. And
to let him go for free again. Yeah. I mean, it happened to us with Wijnaldum and Emre Can, but these were not the main cogs in the team.
Yeah, exactly.
And
with Klopp, you know, midfield is an area where, you know, it's just engine. You just need players to, you know, if you let Salah leave for free, I might shed a few tears. You understand what I'm saying?
But
right now, these players.
What I don't understand is why can't, I mean, again, it's just really in terms of running a business. That's how Ferguson was. Ferguson was very much like that, where the moment he got the feeling that the player did not want to be at United or the player head was turned or whatever it was, no matter how important the player was, he got rid of him.
Right.
The only player I think he compromised for was Ronaldo. When Ronaldo came and told him he wanted to go to Madrid, and he told him give him 1 more year and then he let him go.
Yeah.
But David Beckham wanted to go, Ruud van Nistelrooy wanted to go, all these guys. As soon as them guys made any kind of fuss, no, go on their business. We don't want you if you don't want to play first. Right? Exactly. You cannot have people. Rooney, I think, was another one who wanted to go a couple of times.
Well, you know the problem, no, when the club
we give Rooney a bumper contract.
When the club in a state of flux, like if you have a manager, let's say hypothetical, you have Klopp there, and you know Klopp is Klopp. What player want to go? You say, go ahead, we replace you. But when your manager there, you're not sure if they come in or go in. You have to make sure that you try and appease these players and stuff like that. But Pogba haven't root up any trees since he's been at United. I don't understand. Like, if Pogba didn't sign that contract 2 years ago, he should have been gone by now.
He should have been gone. Yep.
It's not like Pogba is.
At that time, Madrid was offering big money for Pogba.
Yeah, PSG would have paid for him. All these teams.
Yep. I mean, but look at, sometimes them players there. Look at Wijnaldum. He wanted more money. He wanted this. He wanted that. Now he crying. He want to come back. He going back to play for Newcastle. He could be well there in Liverpool, playing part in the team, doing his thing.
But that's where he started then.
They feel like the grass greener, so let them go. When they go, let them go.
He started at Newcastle, so come back home.
I see somebody ask a question in the chat there. I want us to address that.
Good.
Mr. Sarah. Yes, that's Sarah. He says, what creates play consistency though? Have teams become over-dependent on a few players? What do you guys think?
I would say no, because
on a few players.
I would say no, because when you look at the top teams in England right now, maybe not so much Liverpool, but yes, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. Last season, or the season before, when Man City win the league, Kevin De Bruyne was out for a large part of the season. Aguero was out for a large part of the season. Players who come in and go in, but the style of play was there. And every player that come in did the job. You look at Thomas Tuchel. Lukaku and Werner get injured in the same game maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And Chelsea went from strength to strength. Havertz come in, they even score more goals. The style there, the whole way he want to play it there. So whichever players are coming, as long as they're decent, they can buy in and do the job. Right now, Chelsea not dependent on one player or City to say if that player out. You can pinpoint any player on that team to say if he go out, Chelsea in trouble or City in trouble. Liverpool maybe not so much. If Salah go out, maybe to have a chance of winning the league, we need them. But if Salah get injured today and we put Minamino on the right side there, I still think we will have enough to make the top 4 with Klopp and his tactics and his pressing. The dependency on players like before, like at Arsenal when Henry was there and Henry was the be-all and end-all of, you know what I mean? Like I think those days are gone.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the game I think has moved on from them days. But
and I guess in the same vein, we see what happens when players buy into a system, right? So it's not necessarily about the players, but it's the system that the team is designed to play in, which is what brother saying, right? And on that, I actually want to talk about what happened with Brighton this weekend. Because Graham Potter have them and playing some of the best football that they've ever played, right?
Yeah.
In the league, in a very good position. Yeah, they've had a run of games where they haven't won. They've played well, cannot score the goals. But then their fans were booing.
They 9th
at the end of a 0-0 draw.
Yeah. A clean
Like
sheet.
what
Against,
more
a clean sheet against Leeds that's going for fun.
Yo,
exactly? Like
that shows nothing more than what society has become. Instant gratification.
Yeah. I mean,
Instant
Brighton is ninth.
gratification.
Manchester United, the juggernaut of English football, is eighth. Fans should be a little more grateful.
No, I
But
tell
saying
you,
you
it's
have to
instant
compare
I just
yourself.
didn't
gratification.
understand it, man.
Teams right now don't aim to be, you know what, let me be a consistent mid-table team, you know, let me make sure I'm finishing, you know, between 7th and 13th. No, right now they finish 7th 1 year, next year they're talking about Champions League. Like, yo, know your place. Like, relax.
Yeah. Like even at the beginning of this year, fans were still critical of Moyes after what Moyes achieved last year.
Yep.
Instead of giving him a chance to see what he can build on it. Early season, fans were already a little shaky.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
But that doesn't surprise me. Instant gratification culture and society we live in.
Everybody just looking for that big bang, big success.
I really cannot see on any team a player where I would say like if a player, I mean last year Virgil get injured for us, but we also lost Martin and Gomez and other players. And then at some points even the backup centre backs Henderson and Fabinho were injured themselves. So that can derail a season. But if it was just Virgil, I don't think it would have been as bad as it was. But if we just lose one player, I don't see the super dependence on players too much. Especially with these managers.
I guess among the top teams. Amongst the top teams.
Among the top teams.
Hey, my people, call into the show. 821-0936-8478. Join the Zoom. You don't have to put on a video. Just bring your audio and give your opinion. All them fellas that'll be at one pot there. Where are you fellas? Call us. Let's hear what all have to say. You know, let me tell you something. After I log off this thing there, Lake, don't give me no talking. Come there and give me your opinion. Let me hear what you have to say.
He's one of the ones who are very excited for
exactly.
Ralph Ragnarok.
Ragnarok
is coming and he's very excited.
Listen, you have to understand sports is a thing that, you know, some days you're up, some days you're down, you know.
That's right.
in any organization, when you're up, you have to do the things to remain up there. You know, it's hard to get to the top. It's even harder to stay there. You know,
hard to stay there.
So,
but I must say, not to go off topic, but I must say, a couple of maybe 2 months ago, we come there and, you know, we were lashing Arsenal before we checking Arsenal, this, Arsenal, that. Arsenal looking really bad. They really pick up themselves, you know, look them on 5th. Yeah, they had a little wobble last week against an amazing team in Liverpool, but they're only first to get smacked by Liverpool. You know, bigger teams have fallen on that sword. But I mean, I feel like it's weird. On one hand, you could say, well, if you give him a better score, you can see what he's trying to do. He might do better. And then on the other hand, he's saying, well, you know, they're still a little bit inconsistent. But the 5th, they were in the relegation zone. They pick up themselves. They get a lot of good victories. They beat Leicester. They beat, you know. So,
but they lose it on Thursday. Bad news. I tell you, all losing on Thursday.
Manchester United can beat Arsenal this Thursday.
All right, you'll see about that.
No.
Sure?
Arsenal, right? Arsenal right now. They will beat Man U.
Okay.
They have a little bit more structure in them now for versus the beginning of the season. They have a little bit
That's
more.
Okay. That's okay.
You've heard it here, folks. That is Brad prediction.
No, my prediction is a draw.
Remember Thor coming, you know. Thor coming.
Ragnar. Ragnick never managed in England. I hope you know what he's coming to do. Yes.
I think if they're saying that his style is similar to Klopp and them or whatever, I think it's a style. But again, you need the players to execute.
Right. I tell people before.
And if you think about, I was telling Brad that earlier. Look at Klopp. When Klopp came, he struggled to to try and play that kind of football. It took him 2 to 3 years to actually build a team.
Yeah,
that could function properly in that.
Klopp could go and manage another team and get all the players and do what Salah is Salah, and there are some things you cannot coach.
That is true.
You see some of the goals that man score against City, against Watford, and this kind of goal, you cannot coach that.
That is true.
So I consider also I've been lucky to get Mane when we did, to get Salah when we did. Firmino being wise and being unselfish and allowing the others to play off of him and get the plaudits. Everything has to fall in place. I think it's another year or two for Man U before they really get a competitive squad on the pitch to talk about title.
I don't think with that. Well,
But
let me
I don't.
say that right. I think if we get the right manager and we are able to get the players that that won't fit the system out and get the right players in, let's say in 1 or 2 transfer windows. I mean, let's say between January and the summer. I think next year, depending on who we get, I think we can do it. I really, really do not think.
But the
Apart from
reason
our midfield, I do not think that our squad is that much worse than the top
no,
teams, in my opinion.
But you need that midfield.
you need to fix that defense. That defense of Varane,
But,
yes,
Brad,
he's
but,
good.
but the defense can't fix when the midfield in front. The midfield not helping the defense,
True,
right?
but
So the midfield is the engine of your team, If the midfield
true.
cannot, because the defenders, like we talked about before, Virgil van Dijk, Chiellini, any of the defenders facing up to Messi and them without the help of a midfield, they will get washed every time.
Yes, but what I say, I'm not talking about like defending like that. What I mean is, I feel like every time, man, you conceding goals every game, and you look, Maguire is the one that didn't hold the line. When you look from a corner, Maguire didn't stay with his man. Through ball, Maguire didn't track his man. I just feel like, and then show up the field. I just feel like, well, maybe it's a tactical thing, and a coach can come in and fix it and get these players because they look better for England. But tournament football also different from league football.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I
do rate Maguire. Plain and simple. I think
I
he's good enough.
I
they
don't
stuck with him because of how much they paid for him, and he's not terrible. But I just think as long as that man there, goal's gonna be conceded.
But then was Maguire that good at Leicester that we had to pay 80 million for him? Was he that good?
Only pay 80 million because it was a panic buy. And
yes,
all summer drag and no alternatives.
But I think there were alternatives, and my problem with United was, and I've said that, is when we're gonna buy a player, we dilly-dally in too much. You go, you ask for how much the player is. If you decide Maguire is 80 million and you're not spending 80 million, and you try to negotiate with Leicester and they're not budging after 1 or 2 weeks, move on. Find somebody else. Like you don't wait until the last minute and then find yourself in a position where by the time you decide, well, let me go negotiate with Leipzig for one of their defenders, they're telling you, well, listen, we don't have enough time to sign somebody, so we ain't sitting on selling nobody. Like, come on.
No, I know Man U and Leicester are not exactly in the same position in the football chain. But if Leicester can go out and find a Fofana, other teams can go out and find good young players. Where is the scouting network at, man? Every buy have to be a $80 million buy.
Exactly.
Where are the centre backs coming from the club that you pay in, like the under 23s, the under 18s? Where Swansea and these guys? Like, these guys are at the club for so long. If they're not good, sell them. If they're good enough, play them.
Well, Swansea wouldn't play for United, I don't think. But I think back then, but you see, normally the clubs that are right now, the youth system in England, I mean, City and Chelsea really running it. United and these teams don't get the best young players anymore. Those players go to City and they go to Chelsea. And again, my thing is, for example, we went to Italy, we signed this young guy, Bialo, and bring him on to United for 30-something, 40 million. And the man can't even make the bench. Like, you're spending them kind of money on players, and you telling me they're for the future?
Trent Pellistri out on loan, right?
Like, for the future? Like, you don't sign a player for 40 million pounds for the future. That player should be coming in to impact your first team, fighting for a place in the first team. You sign a man for the future for 15 million.
When the first team is doing so poorly, it's hard to really integrate them, man. But at least he should be there on the bench as an option.
But again, with any sort of management, and that's where I think Ole missed the trick big time. With any sort of management, favoritism will always kill you. It will always kill you.
Yep.
You cannot have players playing bad and you have men on the bench. You have Maguire, who was injured. Maguire came back. He was not fit. Okay, fine. You play him against Leicester. He made a mistake. He wasn't fit. You still playing him in the next game?
But there's no.
And you have Bailly on the bench.
There's no unwritten. There's no law saying a captain have to play every game. Henderson don't play every game. He's guaranteed to start. Henderson go games on the bench. You have to understand that the manager picks the team and you didn't get picked. That's all. Maguire unfit. You have other centre backs and you're forcing the man to play, and he evidently not ready. No fans, when that happen, no, gonna happen. Fans crying, Maguire this, Maguire that. So man, they're playing injured. You can see the man struggling against Leicester. Well, I mean,
but
Ole gone.
apart from that, Arsenal fans, let me tell you something. I have a little PSA for all you there. All they doing nothing, all they give you United talk there. And mind we finish above all you, all the talking there. All right, relax all yourself. All right.
But Arsenal fans were saying that earlier in the season, man, they finish above Man U when they were down.
That's okay. So. That's okay, Brad. It's part of the banter. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I want the again. I in some group chat there and fellas sending thing left, right, and center. But when they was in the relegation zone, they was selling it. Don't keep the same energy. Don't if you don't give me talk when your team losing, don't give me talk when your team winning. All right. Good.
Boy, somebody say Bayi had an amazing game. Bayi had an amazing game. And the problem with Man U of recent is Bayi will come in, have an amazing game. Next week, he out. Maguire back in. It doesn't make sense.
No consistency in selection, no consistency in playing.
I mean, right now,
for Liverpool, for playing well.
Shimikas and Robertson kind of rotating, but it's more of a thing to manage. It's to manage the load,
We have somebody joining the Zoom there. Hold on.
Yes, I bring them in.
Welcome.
I want to hear Tommy tactics,
I go to message him, Easy now, Tommy tactics. Hello, good night. Caller, you live.
Caller.
Hey,
we might have to remove that caller. That caller not ready. A caller but dial there. That's a up and coming Liverpool fan, by the way, but maybe she's not quite ready. She's not quite ready to give her views, man.
She not quite ready to commit yet.
Yeah, but I was saying, Shimikas and Robertson rotating right now, but it's more of a load management type of thing. It's not like club saying, "Let me see who better." It's just both of them coming in, they're doing the job. Let me manage there. We don't have the luxury on the right side because Trent is Trent, and we don't have a backup for Trent. Neco Williams will come in a cup game. But I said, if Bayi come in and Bayi do well, and Maguire is evidently doing poorly, let Bayi keep his place until Bayi make a mistake and you say, okay, Maguire can come back in.
Yep.
These coaches, when the players have bigger personalities than the coaches, like Ronaldo is a bigger name, Pogba is a bigger name, they never win a trophy. He wouldn't have the guts. When a man like Klopp come there, Champions League titles, in Bundesliga titles and Klopp tell Robertson you're on the bench, what was I gonna say? You're gonna struggle.
But it's the same, and it's the same with Van de Beek too.
Yeah.
Right? Van de Beek came off the bench a couple games in a row and played well, did more than what the other midfielders was doing.
Boy, you don't see the game Van der Beek come off the bench, he gave me lose, and the man create free clear-cut chances for Ronaldo in 15 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like we have McTominay passing, making square passes in the midfield.
Bro, that man is
every time I see McTominay in my TV, and to send something in the TV, though.
That man is frustrating to watch, 5 touches just to play a back pass.
But guys, the United fans are watching this thing there. Talk to me. I want to know, how can a player not start for his country? His country is not a world beater, right? McTominay cannot start in midfield for Scotland, but he's starting in midfield for the biggest team in England. How? That makes sense? Come on, man. We're talking about. I don't mind, it's not a problem I have with McTominay. The problem I have is the people that keep on saying that he's a good young player. And I have a comment to make too, I have plenty to say tonight then about the double standard I see in England. Right? The double standard I see in England. Certain players, they're making excuses for them too much. Excuses for them because of what they look like. In my opinion.
McTominay 25 next month, That's the player supposed to be in their prime.
That's what I'm telling you. They keep talking about this guy's young.
McTominay been in the team since Jose was there. This is the first season.
This guy is not young. Rashford, what, 24? Martial, 23, 24.
He fit Jose's style. But when a new manager comes in, he's supposed to see if you want to play progressive football, McTominay is not the man for you.
Nope. Yep. Hey, we're going back to United. Let's keep going.
That's true.
Let's talk a little bit about the Newcastle takeover. How you guys think about that? And there was big conversation in England as per that takeover and if it should have been allowed by the Premier League on ethical grounds and stuff like that. What do you guys think about that?
I'm okay with the takeover by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia of Newcastle. But I agree with the Premier League where they're preventing them from having these unlimited sponsorship deals, like what City have with Etihad Airways and all these Etihad companies that the owners also have. Because they might cook in the books.
But then if they do that to Newcastle, if they're going to do that to Newcastle in terms of limiting that, can't they also limit it to
well, it's on different grounds. It's on like because of all the human rights issues going on over there, which brings me to another point about the World Cup that they issued to Qatar. It should never have happened.
Amen.
But that's another story. But yeah, I okay if Newcastle they take over.
Where's Jack Warner now? They arrest him or no?
I did. He was arrested, in the initial investigation.
Yeah. Some hefty fine. I don't remember
exactly. But the thing is, though, my thing is, and somebody was asking me, oh, we have somebody want to join the call there, but just give us a little bit. Let's just get through this. We'll bring you on a little bit. Somebody was asking me the other day, who's not necessarily a football fan, but trying to get into the game. Why do we make an issue about teams like City and Chelsea and those teams coming in with the oil money and all these different things? I was explaining to them the discussion about that is not that is necessarily wrong. The discussion is, God forbid something was to happen to these people where the money is coming from, the club will not be sustainable. So if you have very similar to what happened with Leeds United, if you have players, the club is not generating the income to sustain itself, and God forbid something happen, then the club, liable to go bankrupt because there's no real backing as to, when they're spending this kind of exorbitant money on transfer fees and salaries and then, all these different things.
Who they going to get to keep them from going down that
road? Right. So that's where organic teams, maybe like Arsenal, United, Liverpool, kind of hold the advantage over these teams, because these teams have been able to build success over time and generate a fan base that could help sustain the club. Right. So that's just a quick little thing, but maybe one day we'll do an episode explaining the entire football, organization in terms of the football pyramid, because somebody was telling me that sometimes they don't really understand. They hear me talking about Champions League and FA Cup and they're saying how many competitions does it have, So maybe one day we'll come on and do a show explaining that entire football pyramid and try and get into that and try and get some fans, especially some women following the game. I mean, we try and get some women following the game. So
start with Liverpool.
No, stay away from Liverpool. I can understand what they say when you go on order food in Liverpool.
Hey. We are a global club.
We have somebody trying to join on there. Let me admit them. Let me admit them in. Where's Tommy Tactics now?
More Man U fans, boy. Boy.
Welcome.
Yes, caller, go ahead, caller. You live.
Yes, sir. All the same.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. So, earlier you guys touched on Martial, right? I want to go back on that. I always thought Martial was a fraud. Right. So there was one game, I don't know if Dwayne remembers, one game where I was like, why is Martial there? Why is Martial starting up front for us? And then either Dwayne or Carol, one of you say, all right, wait and see. And that game he scored the hat-trick. All right. And then they told me, oh, Martial is better than I think that he is. Right now he's playing well. I think a few other games he scored 1 goal here, 2 goals here, whatever. But Martial is not consistent. He's lazy. He's just a lazy fellow. Martial is getting paid hundreds of $1,000s a week for a sport that he's supposed to love. You ever look at Martial and see Martial enjoying the game?
No, I don't know why he's supposed to love. He's not supposed to love.
Or at least enjoy doing your job, or show some enthusiasm about doing your job.
I mean,
have you ever gotten that from Martial? I've never seen that.
No, I agree.
Right, I understand where you're coming from, right? But at the same time, sometimes it's just a player's demeanor, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, I remember I was actually watching a clip today of Berbatov. Berbatov never looked like he was thing, but Berbatov had class. He had touch, and he could play the game, right? Who again kind of reminds me of
Ozil in his prime.
True, very laid back, but when they play, right? Martial is capable of that, and we've seen that because he scored goals in the Premier League, right? But as you said, is the consistency, right? And is the system that is being played in, right? That one season that he was our quote unquote number one top striker, right? He was playing for the middle. Rashford played on the left, and they were going tit for tat in terms of goals.
Yeah.
Right? He had a good season because of where he was playing. He was the main man, and he was getting the chances. Rashford had a good season, so he was taking some of the load off of it.
That makes sense.
Right?
That
and
makes
then
sense, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. At the end of that season was when Bruno came in.
Yeah.
Was it that?
Yes.
Was it that season? Right. So they were also getting supply, and then we were playing behind closed doors for the end of that season. Lockdown, so no pressure on them.
And that's one of the things I was thinking about earlier. Like there's no like feeling of being like you have to. The fans are right there. They're looking at you. You have to play well, else you're gonna hear the boo or whatever it is. There's no pressure from that. No fear.
I mean,
But even then,
I think those, you know, that let me say Martial. And the comments I made earlier, that doesn't mean Martial is not a good player. You know, it's just that sometimes certain players don't fit certain styles and or certain cultures. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a player like Martial and you seeing the potential, you seeing what he could be, and the comment you made about a game that he loved. I mean, listen, sometimes you just end up being good at something, you know. You know, Martial. That doesn't mean because these guys play football that they love it. You know, these guys just maybe they try football and they realize that they were really good at it. And you know, at that point, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go sit behind an office computer if you're good at football,
and if you get the chance to.
But the thing is, like, why
he needs to work harder. He needs to work harder.
Definitely.
Yeah, he does. He does.
But what I'm saying is, yes, Brad, he need to work harder. Yes. What I'm saying is, he might go somewhere else where a coach will cater to his style and let everybody else around him work for him.
Yeah, I guess.
He might be banging in the goals. But
that's
if
a
it's
luxury
not going to
United
happen,
can't afford.
Right. If it's not going to happen at United, then United need to move on from him. Right. And that is a big problem United has had. They have not been able to move on players that they deem surplus to requirements. Right? Why is Jesse Lingard there when we keep offering him a contract, he keeps signing it, he keeps denying it or rejecting the contract, and we have him there? No, so if he want to go,
you know,
the
problem is like a lot of players, like right now, if fans are there, we are telling you like get rid of Martial, Pogba, Lingard. Like you cannot replace a whole team in one window. So some of these guys, the club at a hand style where they have to keep some of them around to have a squad.
You cannot replace everybody in one window, but at least like some of these players, you could see they're not good enough or they don't want to be here anymore. Like
not everybody meant to be a starting 11 player, you know. You have to have squad players who are not going to start every week. Lingard is a useful player to have in his squad. But if he's not signing a deal, you have to start thinking about selling him.
Exactly.
And in my opinion,
Lingard is not young.
Yes, they offered enough money for him. And think about this. Varane came in, Maguire came in, Varane came in. Lindelof has made one comment. Right? He's dropped to the bench. He's come in and played when we need him to play. He's accepted his role in the team as a squad player. Right? And you need those players. I've always said that those guys, it's not that those guys are bad players. You need those guys. You need those guys to give your starters a rest when maybe when your starters get injured, to have them play a couple games. But some of those guys cannot be consistently starting for you. And that's the same thing comment I used to make about Lingard, Fellaini. Those guys are great squad players. They're good squad players, but they cannot be people. If you're talking about you want to win a league, you're not going to win a league with those guys. Those guys will help you to finish mid-table and maybe finish top 4. That's about it.
But
and you know,
something that could also be said about the star players also, right? Yeah, we touched on the bench players or just the other players. Like Rashford, right? most of last year, you see Rashford has the opportunity to pass the ball into either Bruno making a run into the box to either score the goal or just to make a pass or pass the ball back. What do? You go for the glory shot. Then you have Greenwood doing the same thing. So a lot of these players, after a few runs, their heads start getting big and then they start feeling like say, oh, I'm a star.
Yeah. But who's supposed to temper that?
The coach, which he didn't.
The manager, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm not faulting the players because a player's decision making is on the player. And Rashford and Greenwood have consistently made wrong decisions in good positions. Yes, it may come off. Well, true.
Bruno is another one too, because we were watching the game today and Bruno just want to go for a glory pass.
Go for a glory
simple pass.
He's a very risky player, Bruno.
Oh, yeah,
always for the risky pass.
You have to be very careful. I mean, I don't want to slate Bruno too much. I know Bruno have a lot of fans out there in the Man universe, but you have to watch a game properly. You might go a season and have a striker that's scoring 50 goals and he's more detrimental to the team winning a trophy. You just say, oh, he's scoring the goals. The problem is Bruno giving that ball away too cheaply. You can never have success when you're doing that. I don't know any other team that would tolerate a player doing that. Any other manager, I would lose my hair. I just cannot understand. Every possession, 2 free touches, showing too much of the ball to the opponent. A manager come in, maybe Mr. Ralph Ragnarok will come in and sit him down and say, listen, I need you to be a little more careful with the ball.
Wreck it, Ralph.
Because especially in a team where you don't have technically gifted midfielders who good at dribbling out of tight spaces and keeping the ball. You're losing that ball like that. You have Maguire at the back there.
But the thing is, with Ole has his favorites. He had his favorite no matter what. There are certain games, right? Scott was the worst player on the team. Probably 3 games in a row. And the 4th goal, probably checking, all right, cool, change is going to come. Nope, Scott. So the joke used to go wrong. Scott probably have something to do with Ole daughter or something like that. Must be.
Anyway, I don't want to tell the viewers next week. Next week we will not be discussing Manchester United. It's a Man U free show next week, unless Arsenal beat them. Then we will discuss.
No, then we'll talk about Arsenal.
Arsenal catching an L on Thursday. It's not right now.
Easily.
I agree.
Yes,
But I have my eye on some revenge this week.
Go online and take your blues, my brother.
Everton last week, we were our entire season with 1 injury, 1 tackle on our talisman at the back, and there was not a penalty, not a foul, nothing. Going back forward, and then they beat us later in this season because it was in free fall. We're going back for them this Wednesday. I want 10.
On the Rafa.
I want 10. No, Rafa is our secret agent. You don't see how they come in a game. That's why they gotta sack him, but he do his job already.
Boy.
All right, look at partners say, come there and say, where was the show when Liverpool won? We
was there, man, but
we've been away for a while.
Yeah, life happens sometimes, man. We're a little busy, but as a Liverpool fan, I can say we wasn't hiding anything. Trust me, I wanted more than anyone to come there and gloat.
But the thing is, that same partner there, that man that never called me, that man called me, that man called me, and I answer my phone. I take my talk. You check. I take my talk. It's all right. That's how it goes. Well, anyway, we're about an hour. We're about an hour in. We didn't talk much about the games, the other games today, but the cricket itself, boy. Western is playing tonight, by the way, playing Sri Lanka in the test match. The first test match, they embarrass us as usual. But I don't know, boy. I don't know. We were talking in a group of partners of mine, and what is the problem with West Indies cricket? And again, I would correlate West Indies cricket to Manchester United in that we had the glory days, and people thought that basically West Indies cricket board or whoever was in charge of cricket thought that we would just keep churning out these great players. They did not put infrastructure in place. They did not put proper organizations in place. They did not invest in grassroots. They didn't do any of these things. And now that's what Australia and England and all these places have done. Now, don't get me wrong. We cannot compare the financial muscle with
Yeah.
of India, Australia, and England.
And they have
But even
major
with
leagues.
even with what we have in the Caribbean, we still are able to go in an international setting and compete with those guys, which means we are still producing good enough natural talent, right? Because guys are going out there and performing sometimes, but the problem is one of the big problems is our guys don't play enough. Our guys don't play enough cricket. The guys in England, that is their career. They play cricket year round. If they're not playing for England, they're playing for their county. If they're not playing for their county, they go into South Africa to play in the winter. Then they go into Australia to play in the winter. Right? So those guys play cricket year round. And we do not have that in the Caribbean. The guys come, they make a little training camp before World Cup, and then they figure, well, they're gonna come and just beat everybody. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Well, I watched a few games in the World Cup, and I must say it was a bit comical.
Bro, it was bad.
It was a bit
West Indies games you're talking about?
Yeah, I watched a couple of West Indies games.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, and then the other thing too is that one piece of advice. I mean, I don't have my own business, and maybe one day I will, but one thing I never want to do is run my business in a friend business. You see, like what you can say today, Manchester United is like an old boys club. Old boys club. They just give jobs for the boys. Right? That's what happened with West Indies. Right? You have Karen Pollard, he just picking all his partners. He's not picking the people that can actually play to help the team. He's a bunch of, when a training captain comes, a bunch of training man. When a Bajan captain comes, a bunch of Bajan man.
This selection process is not a committee, it's one person have the ultimate say.
That is a committee. They have a committee. They have a group of guys. I think it's 3 or 4 guys that are the West Indies selectors. And those guys are normally rotated every 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. But even those guys, some of them, boy, they don't get me started on that kind of thing there, my brother. Because I have some personal issues with some of them people. But my thing is, you cannot pick teams based on your friends, When Sammy won the World Cup, Sammy was from a small island, St. Lucia. So Sammy really had no allegiance to anybody in terms of, let me pick the Jamaicans, let me pick the St. Lucians, or let me pick the there were not so many St. Lucians that he could pick from. 1 or 2 that made the team, when he was there. So at that time, they were picking the best team, right? The best team. That's why he won those 2 World Cups. And cricket is a sport. If you watch cricket closely, in today's game, you need to have penetrative bowlers to do very well in any form of the game. And West Indies doesn't have that. West Indies have a bunch of players that can, bowl good liquor line and length, but they don't have fast bowlers anymore. They don't have mystery spinners. So it's difficult. When you play against Australia, them teams patient in there. If they cannot get 4, they just knock the ball around and get 1s and 2s and accumulate the score on you. Before you know it, they're 300. We don't hit no big 4 and 6.
Yeah.
I watched the game. I can't remember what game it was. Then Simmons was batting. And I don't know. I feel bad for the man, boy. I've been in them positions playing cricket.
Bro, you're the only man making the runs. And everybody coming around you and
he was in that game, he was struggling, bro. He was struggling. And I say, boy, even if you had get that man that man wouldn't hit the ball, boy. I just couldn't believe it. Like everything that man tried, boy. I said no, boy. And at that point I say he may be trying to get out and he still can't get out. That's how bad it was. But again, the whole setup was wrong in the World Cup, in my opinion. If Chris Gayle in the team, Chris Gayle only serves one purpose, to go there and attack. That's it. He haven't got nothing else. So when Chris Gayle come in the thing, he doesn't run 1 and 2s. He haven't got, well, let me stay there and see how the bowling going. No, from ball 1, whoop, drop. It's best you out. Or get a quick fire 30-40 and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I think they pick a team to go to Pakistan, I think, coming up soon. West Indies also has some games in Florida, against Ireland coming up in December.
In December?
Okay.
Yeah. So all Talk the Thing Sports might be there live,
Why not?
But we'll see how it goes. Road trip, you're crazy for man. Oh, you're mad, bro. $100 to go Florida,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
man.
anyway, we have a couple of people we have in the pipeline to bring on. You know, we have but we're gonna keep that a little secret. You know, we'll bring them on. Couple football people, couple cricket people. You know, we can have some good conversations. You know, about
Yeah.
the sports and everything, and you know, we'll see how that goes. But guys, if there's anybody that you guys want to bring on in terms of a sports conversation, you know, we can try and get them. Just bring out the name, give us the names in the chat, or message any one of us, you know, on Facebook or Instagram or
Instagram.
wherever you know, on Talk the Ting DE, you know, and we
Yeah.
can try and get the people and have some good conversations with them. And not sometimes not just us to come there and just talk about it, you know. Anyway, we missed Tommy Tactics tonight, boy. Don't worry. I'll call him.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
make
catch
sure
him
he's back.
in midweek, man. In midweek games, we'll come back and have a little discussion
Yeah,
after
we'll
about
be, we'll,
how
we'll be
Arsenal
back.
was able to
We'll be
beat Man
back.
U. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
man.
yes. Yeah, man. But anyway, have a good night, everybody. And thanks for tuning in. We really
Yes.
appreciate it.
Bless.
Don't forget to
Stay
check out the
safe.
merch, talktheting.com. Check out the merch store. Support the show. All right, guys. Have a good